Hello, everybody. I'm going to share about the movement tips for Parkinson's fighters. So I represent my Center Global Circle Physio and Rehab, and also previously I've been presented these topics in the Penang Parkinson Rehab Association before. So this is the English version. So I'm a physiotherapist who worked as in Singapore before, and I had 12 years experience. Specialized in stroke and Parkinson's, vestibular rehab, and also elderly rehab. So mainly today we'll talk about common movement problems and also share some of the movement tips for Parkinson's fighters. This will be in the next episode. So I break it down into two videos. Then I also try to let you all know about what are the physiotherapist assessment and also how we plan the rehabilitation for Parkinson fighter. So why is it so important to know all of these? Because I found that there's a lot of Parkinson fighter will have a lot of frustration and stress when they facing some of the movement problem. So I wish through this sharing you will understand a bit better how is the Parkinson problem will cause the movement problem. And also when you move about, try to ensure the safety. And we hope that through this sharing and also the Penang Parkinson Rehab Association is to help all of the Parkinson fighters to empower themselves and also build up more confidence to move about and also build up a good support system for all the Parkinson fighters and also caregiver. So mainly, usually, I heard a lot of Parkinson fighter will try to talk to me what are the common problems they face in their daily life. First of all, is you all will tell me that very hard to stand up and sitting down. Like for example, you all will tell me that I need a lot of try while trying to stand up. Okay, and also sometimes when I sit, will feel that very hard and bump into the chair. So this is quite common for some of the Parkinson fighters and also elderly. The other thing is you all described to me is like my feet are stuck on the floor. So you all will describe that my feet is getting sticky and very hard to lift up the from the floor. So whoever that has first two problem, you all can stick down. And the next video we will talk about more on the movement tips. Okay. Then the third one is you all will tell me that my when you start walking is quite good, but then after that my steps are getting smaller and smaller, especially when you need to turn or when you facing some of the obstacles or when you go to some different places, then sometimes you're having a problem with your footstep. Okay. Mm. The other thing is you all will report to me or some of the caregiver will tell me that the Parkinson fighter walk very good in the center, but when they reach home or when they go to some other place, they having the problem and couldn't walk. So what are the main factors that causing? Sometimes I can walk, sometimes I can't. So the next video will talk about that also. So usually I try to use some of the simple example to explain why Parkinson fighter will have all these movement problem. So I will try to describe like your body is like the car engine. So in the early of the morning, the weather is still cold. So when you first started the engine, it's like a bit stuck, like like that. It's very stuck. Then once you ignite the engine, then you find that it's a bit noisier. Then when you drive it for a certain distance, then it's much more smoother. So this is some of the Parkinson fighter will have the problem when they first started to walk. They feel a bit stuck and also their step is not very is like very small or very hard to lift up the feet. So this is how we all can try to imagine like car. Another thing is also usually Parkinson fighter will have the problem when they go to a new place or they haven't been there before. So for example, uh, every day when you go to the market that you're familiar and also workplace, you are really very familiar about the route. So you know where to turn right and where to turn left. Okay, where's the traffic light, where there's a hole, okay, where there's a bump. But when you go to a new place like you go to KL or you go to a foreign country and you need to drive, so usually you will much more slower in driving because we need to take note of which junction that we need to turn left or turn right. And some of us will tend to use the GPS also. Or sometimes we need to stop by the roadside to check on the road sign as well. So this is the problem when we face some of the obstacles or when we face some of the unfamiliar places for Parkinson fighter, you always will have a bit of problem with the movement and a bit slow in your movement and tends to start more when you go to a new place or the place that is more obstacles. So this is how I describe to my clients, and you all will understand a bit better when I talk about the brain. So actually, all it's about the brain. Okay, our brain is the main control center that control our movement of our body and our legs and our hand. Okay, so uh, the part of the brain, every part of our brain will talk to each other. So they need to send the information to the other part of the brain so that our movement will be much more smoother and much more precise. Okay, so this is how our basal ganglia's main roles to smoothen and to control our movement a bit better. And for Parkinson, the problem is lack of the dopamine. So dopamine is the neurotransmitter, means that is the chemicals that help to send the information to other part of our brain, so that to tell them, okay, how you start the movement and how you continue the movement and how you coordinate the movement and how to control the speed and when to stop. Okay, so for example, where you are sitting right now, okay, and you need to walk to the toilet. So the brain will tell our body and our hand and our legs to start to stand up, okay, to start to lift up the legs and then start to take the first steps to walk. Then after that, when you continue in walking, you need to maintain every step is left and right, and maintain your direction and negotiate the left or turn right. And you need to coordinate your step left, right. And you need to control your speed also. Like for example, when you are in the urgency, then your brain will tell your legs to walk faster or walk slower. Okay, and when you reach to your destination, means near to the toilet bowl, then you need to stop and turn. So then Parkinson fighter will have sometimes facing the problem in those movement control, those moments. For example, when you need to first started your walking or when you stand up. And sometimes when you continue your walking, you will face some of the steps problem getting smaller and smaller. And how you coordinate left and right is a bit stiffness, how you coordinate your body. Then when you walk, you feel that your speed is very hard to control. Sometimes some of the clients will tell me that you all will tend to rush very fast and very hard to stop. Yeah, this is called fascinating gait. Yeah, so all these things is all about our brain, which is because of lack of dopamine that usually Parkinson is usually because of that. Okay. So all these Parkinson fighter will some of the sign that will develop when they walking or when they doing their movement. So for physiotherapists, we'll need to look into some of your medical background, your medical condition, like any surgery done, any heart problem, any diabetes, or any blood pressure problem. Another thing we need to understand how is your lifestyles and how is your pre-morbid. Like for example, when you first started to have this movement problem, when you start to use the walking aids, and how are the social support that you all have. Definitely, we will go through a very detailed physical assessment. Like we will observe from top to toe, so we can see how's your posture, how's your feet, and how's your knees, any knees deformity, how's any hunchback or not. And we check on the strength, how's your joint movement, any stiffness, any muscle tightness or not, and how you coordinate left and right, and any rigidity that you have. Then we'll check on your sitting balance, standing balance, and walking. Okay, how's your balance when you turn or anything. Then we'll go through a few functional tests to test how's your walking. These are the one of the example, which is called high up and low. So high up and low is the patients or how the fighter or elderly test out the balance when they first started standing, walk straight line 3 meters and then turn back and come back and sit down. So we can assess how's your fall risk and how's your balance when you're walking, and how's your walking timing also. Okay. So from there itself, we'll try to discuss how's your rehab plan with the Parkinson fighter and also family member and caregiver. Definitely, we will talk through the plan. And if you need any other physiotherapists and also occupational therapists or speech therapists, then we will actually try to cross refer also. And we will discuss with your doctors as well, because some of your movement problem may be related to your medicine. So we will try to discuss with your doctors also.